So, as part of this course, like I was saying, we are going to be trained to become as configurators. Okay, we are going to behave like what? The consultants. We are going to get requirements from our functional users, from our business users, who may not be well versed with Working, and then we will learn how we can configure those things in Working right, like, let's say, a new person joins. So what will be the change to the organization hierarchy? Okay, how to first of all hire a new person using Workday, how to configure that. Right. And then, you will configure the way a new person is going to be hired so that the business can then go ahead and keep hiring new people. Right, you are going to define the process in Workday. Right, you are going to learn how you create reports in Workday. You are going to learn about how to overall configure the layout, the organization structure, and everything in Working. Alright. So, first of all, let's take a look at the product. It's absolutely brand new look and feel that we are seeing here. This is the new look and feel that is going to be very common starting from March 2022, because this is the 2022 release one. Alright? Okay. So, since I mentioned release 1, let me quickly talk about the release cycles in Working. So, like I said, a software as a service product will automatically upgrade for you. An organization who is subscribed to work there, who has bought Working. They don't need to spend a lot of money on resources and people to help to upgrade what they always upgrades its product, and anybody who is subscribing to work to any organization that is using Working will always get the latest and the greatest product. Right, they will always have the latest version. You cannot be on a previous version you have. All organizations will be on the latest and the greatest version that is released. So, having said that, there are 2 times a year when Workday will push its upgrades once. The first one is called the R1 of the year, like this is 2022. So we will call the first release as 2022 R1 and then the next release will be called 2022 R2. Now the R1 comes up at around this February, March, April timeframe, and R2 will come around in September, October timeframe, right? So what? They gives you a month to test all your different configurations, reports etc. on the new version, and then it pushes the upgrade in the production system, in the live system, and we all get to see. All the users in the organization will start to see the new look and feel of the product. Right, so it happens twice a year. Now, let's take a quick look at the product itself. So, like I said, Workday is a same product. And it is a system of record, okay, so you see a big search bar at the top of your screen, in the top middle of your screen. So here, practically you can search for anything and everything that is existing in world in this particular product. So let's say I want to search for an employee. Okay, I want to search for a particular worker. Now let's say I want to search for Steve Morgan. Okay, I want to search for Steve Morgan. So this is the particular worker, Steve Morgan. Okay, so if you just look at this, let me increase the font a little bit for easy viewing. Right, 2000. So he was hired way back in 2000 and then maybe he left, and then he was hired again on the 30th of September, 2021, and so he has been in this position for around 5 months and 3 days. Right, and we also have his contact information. So we have his phone number, we have his email address, and we also have his work address. We see where is his office? Well, what is his work address, right? We also have his skills, right? He is good at deal execution, operational execution, and P, L, N, and L responsibility, right? So you see, just by looking at this summary page, we can tell a few things about this particular worker. Where did he do his college? He did his MBA in Business Administration from Northwestern University. So this is a summary of the worker. If you want to have more details, like, let's say, I want to have some more details about his job, so I can click on this job tab and I can see all the different jobs that he has with the organization. He may have one primary job. He may have a secondary job with more than one jobs as well, but all the details for that you will get in the job step. So, similarly, if you look at his job history, manager history, what is his management chain? Who are the workers he reports to? Right, so all of that will be available in the different tabs. Sure, okay, now you have hired. When you say you have hired, meaning maybe you were part of the recruitment process, or maybe you are. Who has updated all these details? How do we get all these? Correct. Yes. Well, now, there are two ways in which typically all this information is updated now. One is, of course, part of the job, one is system generated. Let's say, right, so he's hired into a location. So first we create the location, we configure the location. So anybody who is on that location. Of course, we'll have the same work address whenever we are hiring a worker. Whenever we are hiring a worker, the date that the worker is hired will be system-like. We will just select it in the system, right? So some of the things are entered at the time of the process that is happening, and some of the information can be updated by the worker themselves. Right, that? Let's say his education. So who is the best person to update? His education. Maybe he himself, right, because he is the one who knows his grades, the year he did the education, the institute he did his education from. What about his? Like the tab. I am in the contact information. Now, who is the best person to identify his home contact information or maybe his emergency contact information? Probably the worker himself, right? It's the best person to be able to do that. So it is a mix. Sometimes there is organizational data and, of course, there is some personal data as well. So this is not an on-premise. You don't need to install anything on your system to be able to access Workday. You log into a browser and there it is, right? So now you might be wondering, like, okay, if you log into a browser and then we get to a product, then is it one system for everybody, like all the organization that say a Walmart or a Lowe's, or everybody will get to see one server or one particular application? Well, the answer is there is something called as a tenant. So we will talk about tenant when we start our class, probably next week. So then I will first of all start by talking to you about what is a tenant, and then what is and how. Do we do the tenant management? Okay, but just for a quick moment. A tenant is your instance of the product, so within a tenant you have your organization's data, right? So there will be a tenant for Walmart, there will be a tenant for, let's say, Lowe's, one for Bank of America. So Bank of America has subscribed to Workday. Let's say so. They will have their own instance of the product where they will have their employee data, so all their employees will log into that system. You will have a separate link for that. You will log into that system and there you will see all the employee information of Bank of America.